RFD TV presents Gentle Giant with Pam Minnick and Katie Kaufman.
We're in Denver, Colorado at the National Western Stock Show, one of the oldest and largest stock shows in the U.S.
That's right, Pam. This show is steeped not only in tradition but history, with a major focus on draft horses.
We'll see everything from a heavy horse pull to a feed race to impressive 8-horse hitches.
Stay with us. Gentle Giants will return in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gentle Giants. The National Western Stock Show was first held in the Denver Union Stockyards in 1906. It's the world's largest in terms of the number of animals, with 18,000 head on the grounds. For more than a century, the National Western Stock Show has provided a premier showcase for all breeds of livestock and has been one of the biggest economic generators in the Denver area. Horses have always played an important role, and the Gentle Giants continue to entertain the crowd.
The level of draft horses here is exceptional, and especially this year having the finals here, the top end of the competitive 6-horse hitches is extremely good. There's a large variety. You see a great variance all the way from the pulling horses to the farm classes, plus the hitch horses as well. So you really can come as a spectator and see a full array of, what the draft horse is really all about.
For us logistics, we've got horses coming and going all the time. We've got all things going almost 24 hours a day.
Definitely a bit of an endurance run for the crew and the horses. Because of it being incorporated with the actual Denver Stock Show, we spend a lot of time getting horses ready, and they spend a lot of time in the ring showing.
We're not only competing in the North American 6-horse hitch finals, but as well as the National Western Stock Show, which they have a full array of classes ranging from a single horse on a 2-wheel cart to 2 horses on the wagon, 3 horses on the wagon, 4, and open 6-horse hitch that they're going to have 20 or more 6-horse hitches competing in, and then an 8-horse hitch to finish it off on Sunday. So really it's a taxing show for the horses, but it hopefully will pay off in the end. This is what we live for. This is exciting for us. In fact, we have a number of people on our crew that have taken vacation days from their job to come out and work their tail off all weekend. So I was asking them just yesterday why they did that, but they're passionate about it, and just like everybody else in this industry, they're just passion kind of drives it, the passion for the horses and competition and all of that.
The ladies' cart class combines the amazing power and presence of the draft horses with the beauty and female drivers dressed for an evening in the show ring. The ladies are judged on their ability to control their horse. The horses should be well-mannered, easy to handle, responsive to the lines, and have an easy gait. Janine Regier shows her favorite Express Clydesdale, Coolio.
Their disposition and just the way they present themselves, especially when you get the harnesses on them, and they know it's showtime, and they know that it's just time to perform. And Josh has done such an awesome job with them and myself. He's been my coach and my mentor, and he's been awesome. You don't want to smooch to them. You want to think about the judge being there. You don't want to make a lot of noise with them. You want to make sure that they're on their trotting game, or they're walking, or whatever you want. You need to make sure that there's a lot of things to think about. He's at the shows and gets his harness on, and everybody, the tension and the energy is all running high. He steps up, and he's really a lot of fun to drive.
Janine drove the ladies' cart, and she had a great run, a great drive. She's enjoying herself, and that's the main thing. And I told her, I just want you to have fun. That's the important thing, because any sport, doesn't matter what sport you're in, it's great to have fun with what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing. And that's more important, of course, than winning, although we all like to win. She's learned very quickly, and Josh Minchell, our manager, has done a great job of teaching her what she needs to do and how she needs to do it. And she's a quick learner, so we're proud of her.
I was the last one that they called off, so I knew that I was in there with the Percherons, and Clyde being in with the drive off at Percherons is very exciting.
Randy Thiel won the class driving Pride from Eaglesfield Percherons.
I'm just very fortunate to drive a really awesome horse. He makes life easy. He makes my job easy, makes it fun, and he steals the show for sure. He's 7 years old, and Brian Coleman has just done a phenomenal job with him the last 6 months, bringing him to where he is today. And he's just turned into just a phenomenal horse. He's beautiful and awesome. He knew that he was on his game today for sure, and you could feel it. You know, he wants everybody to look at him, and everybody does. He definitely got a sweet spot. And I think in the redrive, I hit the sweet spot, but he's a phenomenal horse, even when I'm not doing my job as well as I should be. He makes it look easy, and he's a really pretty moving horse.
We'll give you a look at draft horse classes that carry on century-old traditions when Gentle Giants returns.
Welcome back to Gentle Giants. Some of the popular classes at this draft horse show features horsepower as it was intended.
This year at the 2014 National Western Stock Show, we'll have 32 entries in the draft horse pulling contest. The sheer massive size of them, you know, they are the Gentle Giants. People are just really enthusiastic about the size. They can be intimidating, but when you get close to them, it's nice to see their gentle disposition as well as their friendliness to them. The pulling competition, the crowd really likes to see those horses work. And when they get down to a heavy load and those horses get down low and they're just working so hard, they're just trying all they can to pull that load.
Pulling contest is a great tradition with us. We have 3 weight classes, the lights, the mediums, and the heavies. They pull 17,000 pounds. It's amazing to watch them. And it's just a really different horsemanship experience for a lot of our spectators.
There's nothing more proud for a driver, an owner of these teams of horses, when their horses really perform. Even though if they're not first place, they know many times their horses worked as hard as they could.
In the lightweight pull, it was Darren Palmer's horses, Bulldog and Abe, from Palmer Pulling Horses of South Jordan, Utah. In the middleweight division, Jeff Kruger of Wisconsin guided Buck and Barney. In the heavyweight pull, it was no surprise. Ed Smock of Missouri brought his horses Boogie and Flash to win this division.
Our feed team race, I think, is one of the things that we here pride ourselves as being one of our most successful events in the terms of rallying the local draft horse enthusiasts to come and bring their draft hitches and their mule hitches. It's highly competitive. There's a lot of rivalry, a lot of great competition, and they have a great time doing it. We section them out. We run them as a slalom. They have to go in, stop, pick up 6 bales of hay on the sled, travel through the slalom course. There's 2 barrels at the end where only one team will fit through at a time, so timing is everything. Once they get through, they'll stop, drop 2 bales on a platform, move up, drop 2 more bales on a platform, hit the final platform, drop their last 2 bales, go to the finish line. They get penalties for moving while the handler is off the sled. They get a penalty for galloping or cantering, and they also get penalties if the hay bales are not fully encased in that platform.
In the feed team race, 3rd place was Amos and Wally and Greg Kearns. 2nd place was May and June for Shane Clark. And the winner, Johnny and Doc with Samantha Zavadil.
When we return, Gentle Giants heads to the rodeo to see draft horses in a different light. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Gentle Giants. The Pro Rodeo in Denver during the stock show is exciting. And here, draft horses take the spotlight to entertain the crowd. The National Western Stock Show kicks off the Pro Rodeo season, and the best cowboys and cowgirls in the world compete here. Between the bone-jarring rodeo events, the crowd is entertained by the beautiful Percheron Thunder Hitch with Jason Goodman at the lines. Jason has a long history in showing draft horses and compares a judge class with his arena performance.
Here with the rodeo, we still try to push ourselves to I want a good drive when I go in there. I don't necessarily need the perfect headsets or the extreme animation like what the show hitches do, but I still like to have a really good driving bunch of horses, because in the rodeo industry you have a lot of ranchers and farmers and stuff that are watching the rodeo, and a lot of them know when a good 6-horse hitch is working together, and so that's what's kind of neat. But we're actually allowed to do a little more with them. As far as docking maneuvers, small figure eights, spin the top, and then of course we run them wide open as well too.
There are 30 rodeo performances, so the crew stays busy in the stall area, hitching, grooming, and braiding all the manes.
What we do is we braid their manes at the same height as what their headsets are going to be when they're driving. So in order to let them relax and put their manes down, the manes are braided fairly tight, so that way the braids look nice and crisp and sharp. But if they put their head down, then that tries to stretch the mane out of the braid out. So after every performance, all the braids come out, and then that way they can eat hay, drink some water, kind of relax, so they get some downtime. And then 45 minutes before the next rodeo, we'll go ahead and put all the braids back in.
Scott Smith has been driving his stagecoach and hitch at the Denver Rodeo for 35 years.
I think it's a really good place to take a young team, because you over and over and over, we hook 30 times here. And by the time you get out of here, you can just about go anywhere you want to go. You know, it's pretty much stayed pretty much the same. We try to bust in as fast as we can and get a pretty good rise out of the crowd, and I think it looks pretty good coming through the gates and stuff like that. So I think all in all, it adds a little bit to the show and gives them a little thrill, I guess. I know the people on top really get a thrill out of it.
I didn't say it was fair. I just said it wasn't what it was. I'd like to welcome back to our arena to Scott Smith and our friends, our National Western State.
I believe that's everyone, ladies and gentlemen.
Tonight we're expecting 11 hitches. And that in itself would be amazing. Well, we have a really big arena, which we're really proud of, but to put all those hitches in there at one time is quite logistical. On this side of the pen, the audience never gets to see that part. We'll compete 3 to 4 hitches at a time, bring them out, stage them here in the paddock, get them turned around, and then we will bring them all back in and line them up for the audience to see all of them at the same time.
You know, people don't realize, oh, you got to keep your horses up to the show in Denver in January. The problem is, we go home, we just can't kick our horses out. They're all short-haired, you know, they're staying in the barn, and we just can't wait for them to grow hair. We have to go, you know, keep them in the barn, keep them under lights, and to keep them slick for next summer. It's a whole year commitment to commit to Denver.
To come here is a lot of work, but the reward is worth it. It's a really prestigious place to show.
A lot of times what you'll see with you know, family similarities will be a length of stride, which makes horses drive, you know, well together and team up together as pairs. Head carriage as well is an important thing that you'll see family resemblances, and you know, sometimes you can have, you know, two that will work together that may not be related, but a lot of times it does help to have some similarities in them. The wheel team are half brothers, so they have the same sire. The swing team are not related to each other, but they work very well together. We have a total of 3 half brothers in the hitch, so they are, you know, a lot of times that family resemblance does make a hitch look better together as a unit.
Cody has been driving horses since he was knee-high. He's a fine driver. Dean has been having him drive the 8 at home in practice, and he drove it at Loveland last week and probably had one of the smoothest drives there. I mean, he didn't make a bobble. It was almost perfect.
In the 8-horse hitch, 4th place went to Eaglesfield Percherons with Brian Coleman at the lines. Third was Flat Rock Draft Horses, driven by Gregory Rowe. In 2nd place, Shining Star Percherons with Gary Miller up. And winning again, Wilderness Ridge Farms with Bud Miller.
I got the big classic win, so I was kind of neutral, but I really wanted the 8 too. We practiced it a lot at home. Oftentimes the 8 is just another, it's more like a fun class, where the 6 is, you better go, it's time to win when you put the 6 on. So when we were in the 8, when it was us two, I sure wanted it bad, so it was fun.
The one thing nice about winning the 6 first ahead of that, you kind of calm down a little bit. You know, you feel pretty great that we won the 6. So, you know, if we win the 8, okay, you know, if we don't, maybe it's not a major deal. But we do know that we had the hardest thing to put together at a hitch, especially in the 8, is to have 8 good horses. I mean, good, flashy horses. We've been doing this for probably 8 years now, you know, and you don't always get the opportunity to have those horses all in your hands at one time.
These horses have been worked at home. It's not hard to see the hitches that done their homework. I always said your blue ribbons are won at home, not at the show, because what you do at home shows up at the show. And the 8 is a class, it's a difficult hitch to drive, and it
it's almost a class for drivers, because as you could see, there was a few guys having some problems out there. Well, when you add 2 more horses into your hands, it's a very difficult hitch to drive, and takes a lot of strength.
I added a new horse. His name is Hot Rod. I added him, and I added my old faithful Jordan. He used to be a lead horse. He was in the lead when I won the Classic 6-horse hitch here 2 years ago. So I come back from winning the Classic 6, put them 2 in their spots, and went back and had won the 8. It doesn't happen very often, and it was quite a dream come true.
Those wheel horses are just awesome animals, full draft horses, as drafty as they get. Rod's going to bring them around. Give us a figure 8.
We'd like to thank everyone here at the National Western Stock Show in Denver for their hospitality, and what a variety of draft horse classes they had.
Yes, you're exactly right, Pam, and I have to say that 8-horse hitch competition, wow, it was impressive.
It was amazing. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you right back here next week on Gentle Giants.
And in the meantime, you can check us out on Facebook. We'll see you there.
Bye.